Hi everyone, it's Norm here. On today's episode, we're going to be learning about the bobolink. The bobolink is probably the best example of a true prairie bird on our species at risk list here in the tallgrass prairie. So stay tuned to learn all about this beautiful bird. When it comes to identification, the bobolink male is a bird like no other here in the tallgrass prairie. But there can be some confusion because their plumage does change with the seasons. So the breeding male is sometimes referred to as the backwards tuxedo bird. It's the only songbird in North America with a black breast and white on the upper parts and wings. The back of the head is a distinct buffy yellow color and the beak is black. After the mating season, the male will then molt and appear more closely to a female and juvenile. So they can be mistaken for sparrows with more of a mottled light brown coloring and a pink beak. So while I was photographing bobolink this summer, I didn't realize until I looked at my photo that we have two bobolinks in this picture. The male in their breeding plumage on the right, and then the less obvious female on the left. So no matter the plumage, the bobolink can be differentiated from other birds like sparrows by a larger size, maybe a bit smaller than a robin. And they do have a stiff, short, but still sharply pointed tail feathers. The bobolink is an extreme migrator. So they have been recorded to appear as far north as Alaska, but they're more commonly observed in their breeding and nesting areas in central to southern portions of Canada. And where they overwinter can be throughout South America as far south as Argentina. So this means that some bobolink may have a migration close to 20,000 kilometers. In their lifetime, they could travel a distance of going around the Earth a total of 5 times. While in Canada, the bobolink is in search of suitable nesting area. So they're looking for prairie. Now here in southeastern Manitoba, because of the loss of our tallgrass prairie, the nesting areas have more shifted towards agricultural lands, forage lands, croplands, pasture areas. And the nests will be built down onto the ground. So there's going to be 2 to 5 eggs laid, and it'll take about 2 weeks for those chicks to hatch. The chicks are fed only insects, but as they turn into adults and they start heading south for the winter, their diet shifts towards more vegetation, especially focusing on things like seeds. The Canadian population for bobolink is estimated to be about 1 million breeding pairs. So that does seem like a fairly strong number. However, we have to consider that since the 1960s, there's been about a 90% decrease. So things like pesticides, predation, variable climate have all had negative impacts on the bobolink population. But the big issue they face is the loss of our prairie. We mentioned the bobolink using pasture lands and agricultural lands for nesting. Well, this damage that the nests can inadvertently come into is a big concern. What's interesting to note is that these croplands provide good cover for the bobolink, and the bobolink will actually in turn help out the crops by feeding almost solely on pest insects. So this is a good example of if we help the bobolink out, they can help us. So that's everything I have for you on today's episode. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions on what you can do to help our prairie birds, please don't hesitate to contact me at sarcommunityliaison@gmail.com. See you next time.